Welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about one of my favorite retirement planning tools that I have discovered. A lot of the YouTubers I watch out there are financial advisors, and they're able to determine the best or the most efficient withdrawal planning in retirement using tools like Snap Projection or Conquest or something like that. And these are fantastic programs, but these are only available to financial advisors. And if you go with a financial advisor, generally they're going to charge you thousands of dollars to develop your financial plan. And I'm in no way saying that it's not worth the fees. In all likelihood, it's 100% worth the fees that you're paying to get a financial advisor. But I wanted to find something that was available to me as a DIY investor. That's when I came across Milestones a few years ago. Back then it was called Cascades, and I actually asked for this program as a Christmas present years ago. I am sort of a nerd that way. And what we could do was we could purchase this program for $80 and you had 30 days of access to it. Plus you had a 1-hour consultation with a financial advisor. And so in those 30 days, I ran a ton of different scenarios. I wanted to see if it was worth commuting my wife's pension or if it was worth taking the monthly sum. I wanted to know if we should buy back some of our pension years or invest that extra money on our own. I wanted to know what is the earliest we could retire. I wanted to know what was the maximum we could retire with. I wanted to know if we could retire with X amount of dollars per year. I wanted to know, is it better to continue to invest in the spousal RRSP? What if we gave money to our sons for a house or some big purchase before retirement or after retirement? I wanted to know if the way we're investing right now met our retirement needs. What if one of us only worked part-time for the last few years of retirement? What is the ideal age to take CPP and OAS, and on and on and on. I ran all these scenarios to try to maximize our portfolio. And this program allowed me to do all of that, and it was just a dream come true for me. I had a ton of fun doing it. I didn't use it for a couple of years because I didn't need to spend that $80 again, but they actually changed their framework. They changed their name from Cascades to Milestones. And when they did that, they offered the program for free, 100% free. So, I mean, I've had a ton of fun with this program. I've been using it for free for the last few years now. And as I was preparing for this video, I actually just received an email though. Broke my heart a little bit. And you can see here that they are going to start charging as of December 1st, 2025, $90 per year for DIY and $250 if you want to use a financial planner. I mean, these are still fantastic deals, but it's not free. I mean, I love finding the best deal out there, and you can't beat free for this program. But again, I 100% get it. You aren't going to stay in business if you're going to offer all your services for free. So this is still a great deal. So let's get into the software and see if this is right for you. And you can see here I've run a whole bunch of scenarios already. I've got a whole bunch of things here, and you can see I've got different scenarios in each of my plans. If I wanted to retire early together with my wife, you can see I've run a bunch of scenarios there, and so on and so on. So it's really easy to start a new scenario. You can just click the add button at the top here and put in your name, whatever you want. So I've just called this one YouTube, 60 years old. And if I click on it now, you can see here I've already made some assumptions. I've just called each person first spouse and second spouse. And I'm not that creative, so I just Googled what the average salary was in Alberta at this time, and it was $66,700. So I just put the salary in as $66,700 for each of the spouses. And if you click on the arrow here, you can put in some data. You can see I have the first spouse employed, making $66,700 per year. They want to retire at age 65. I just put in an OAS start age at 65, a retirement age of 65, been in Canada all their lives. That'll affect their OAS payments. They're not currently collecting CPP. I just put a CPP payment of $760.07. That's actually gone up. Let's change that to $844. So I've changed the CPP now to $844.53. That's the average that a Canadian currently collects at 65 years old. And I just put a desired CPP at 65 years old. And if you had a defined benefit pension plan, both my wife and I do, so we can add that in here. But for the sake of this video, I'm just not going to enter anything into it. Then click on update and it'll save that information. For spouse 2, you can see I have the exact same data in here. I've changed the CPP payments to $844.53 to align with the average that a Canadian gets, but I've just kept, again, all the numbers the same as spouse 1. Let's update that. Now you can enter all the data that you have. So let's go into first spouse's accounts. Let's start with an RRSP. Let's say that this person has, say, $250,000 in RRSPs. And let's say they have $100,000 in contribution room still. And on an annual basis, let's just say they're putting in $10,000 per year. And you can change that to, say, $2,000 per month or whatever you happen to do. You can do quarterly, weekly, however frequently you are putting your investments in. And you can see here if you're contributing to a spousal RRSP, you can put some information in there. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to leave it as 0, so there's no spousal contribution since they're making the same amount, and save it for spouse 1. Let's say they also have a TFSA, so let's click on the plus sign, change it to TFSA, and you can see all the different things that you can enter here. Defined contribution plan, non-registered accounts, RIFs, LIFs, LIRAs, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to select TFSA. Let's say they only have about $20,000 in their TFSA. Let's say we don't know what our contribution room is. I mean, I do. Everything's on a spreadsheet. I know exactly how much I can put in per year, but let's say for the sake of this video, you don't. Let's say we're going to put in, say, $200 every month. And once we have that, we can just click on save. And you can see they have their TFSA and their RRSP here. And for the second spouse, let's say this spouse has a smaller RRSP but more in TFSAs. So let's say $100,000 in RRSPs with $200,000 in contribution room. And let's say they're only going to be putting in $5,000 per year and nothing contributed to spousal RRSPs. And let's add a TFSA. Let's make the TFSA a little higher. So select TFSA. Let's put in, say, let's say they have $110,000 TFSA. And let's say they do know their contribution room. Let's say they have, I don't know, $10,000 left. And they're going to be making $5,000 contributions per year. And if you had joint assets, you could add those. In the advanced settings, you can do a whole bunch of things. Let's say they're pretty aggressive with their investments. I don't know, let's give them a 6% growth that they're expecting. I'm just going to say no to all of these. I usually change my inflation rate to 3%. Longevity buffer is just how many years you expect to live past life expectancy. I just leave it as the default 10. When do we want to income level? Let's say when both spouses retire, they're both retiring at the same time anyway. We can opt to prioritize the avoidance of OAS clawback here. And the program will also tell us when the optimal time to take CPP, QPP, and OAS. So I'm going to say yes to this one, and I'll leave this one as a no. And then up here, if you're expecting any inheritance or the sale of a cottage or house or anything like that, you can put in a lump sum that you could be getting. I won't put anything in there. One-time withdrawals. Sure, you know what? Let's say that this couple is expecting to purchase a new vehicle in a few years. So let's say they're going to purchase a $25,000 vehicle at age 71. We can add that. And you know what? Let's say that the roof is going to need repairs. We can click the plus sign again. Let's say it's a $10,000 roof. And let's say that's going to occur in 5 years at age 66. And we can add that and so on. You can play around with that. And then if you have additional income sources here, part-time work, rental income, anything like that, and income shaping. So if you want to do anything with the go-go, slow-go, and no-go years, you can enter all that data in here, and you can shape it any way you want. So if you wanted an extra $10,000 for the first 10 years of your retirement, and then maybe nothing, and then lower that by $10,000 in your no-go years or anything like that, you can put that into the income shaping here. But for now, I'm just going to click Save. And now I have two options. I can select a desired retirement income or the maximum. So I'll just click on maximum for right now. And you can see this report comes up. So you can see that they can live on a maximum of about $63,000 per year in retirement based on the assumptions that I put in. You can see that it gives you the 3 highest or best options for you. And if you wanted to change the view of one of the 3, you can just click on this window here. Of course, I'm going to leave a winning strategy here because I want the best strategy. Here, I can put it on present value or future value, and that will include inflation or not. So I'm going to leave it as inflation adjusted. So that's your present value. You can see the value of your portfolio when each spouse is at 91 years old. You can click on the CY here. You can see that we've asked the program to maximize our spending. So we are draining the account completely. And you can see the 3 different strategies. Early on, the registered drawdown strategy works better with the hybrid strategy, but the registered deferral strategy does start taking shape at the end here. And you can select any part of this and see where you're at. And you can see the differences in your portfolio here. Shows you a 5-year plan here, and you can see what's happening to each spouse's portfolio here with the gross monthly income, how much money they're coming in, and you can see how much withholding tax each spouse will have and the tax refund that it's predicting, and that will show you the 5 years for all of those. Your projections here show you where all your income is coming from, so you can see most of it's coming from registered savings. We've got some from OAS and your CPP. Your disposable income, where all of your income is coming from. So you can see the purple is your OAS, your light purple is your CPP, registered accounts in the orange, and then the TFSA in green. And you can see here we had our $10,000 roof payment that needed to be paid off here. And then we've got the $25,000 car payment that needs to be purchased here. So that's why there's those extra green bars there. That's coming up from your TFSAs. And here's your disposable income and how your accounts look, and you can see that it gets drained. So you can see that the RRSP is getting drained faster. Your TFSA is building for a while. Once your RRSPs are gone, then they move to the TFSAs and drain it till you die in 2065, or what you told the program you should drain all of your accounts. Here's your net estate projection. You can see taxes paid by your estate if you happen to die at any point in between. Here in the key considerations, you can see there's a section here that will tell you when to convert your RRSPs into RIFs, and it'll state that for both spouses here. And it'll also tell you when the optimal time to take your CPP and your OAS is. And you can see you could have actually increased your retirement goals by 18.23% by taking your CPP at both age 70 for OAS and CPP, and that goes for both spouses. So if you change your CPP and your OAS to 70 for both, you will have more income throughout the life of the portfolio. And here is a detailed ledger of your portfolio and what you should do. So you can see the first few years you still have income coming in, and then after that you're collecting your OAS, your CPP, your RIFs, and all that sort of stuff. And you can see exactly where all of your money is coming from and where it's going, all your taxes and all that stuff here, which I think is fantastic. And if the program told you to maximize your portfolio by changing your CPP and OAS withdrawals starting at age 70, you can easily do that if you just click on first spouse, scroll down to OAS, change that to 70, and your CPP, change that to 70, update that, change your second spouse. The program said to change both those to age 70 as well. Update second spouse. Let's just go back to the strategy to see how much we were making. And so it's $63,020 per year. And now if we see the plan again, you can now see that we're almost at $66,000 per year. So we've increased that by almost $3,000 per year by pushing back our CPP and OAS payments until the age of 70. And you can see the income breakdown now. You're withdrawing heavily from your RRSPs early on before CPP and OAS are claimed. And if you think you only need, say, $60,000 for retirement, you can just click on this box, select a desired retirement income, and you can just put $60,000 in there. And then if you see your plan, you can now see at the top that there's a plan to withdraw $60,000 per year. And you can see here that the hybrid strategy, that being withdrawing from your non-registered and your registered accounts at the same time, is a little better than withdrawing from your registered accounts first, and which is even better than deferring your registered accounts completely. If you click on CY, you can see a bit of a breakdown on what each of the different withdrawal strategies does to your portfolio. And you can see the withdrawal strategy here and your taxes paid and your portfolio projection. You can see it actually increases over time because you're actually pulling out less than you are making from your investment. You can see from the key considerations here that the first spouse will convert their RRSP to a RIF at about 65 years old and the second spouse at 69 years old. And you can see the depletions there. And it says at the bottom here, you can actually maximize your portfolio by taking CPP and OAS at 69 years old rather than 70. So again, you can go in and change that setting and see how much more benefit you have if you do that. So I hope this video has shown you some ways a DIY investor can sort of build their withdrawal strategy in retirement. Again, I'm not saying that this is going to replace a financial advisor. There's a lot to the financial advisor that can benefit you in your retirement, but this is a good step in seeing your projections. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to stay informed of some of my other ones, please subscribe below. Have a wonderful day.